Well, a very, very good evening to one and all. Yes, it's Thursday night. It's 8:30, and that means it's the sports quiz with the stars, the show that does exactly what it says on the tin. So welcome to the Sporting Club Sports Quiz with the stars. The star in question tonight is Mr. Neil Back, the Leicester Tigers England World Cup winner and Lions legend. He'll be joining us very, very, very shortly. So thanks for joining, obviously. Sit back, pour yourself a drink. I have a rather large whiskey here. And I hope you enjoyed our catchy new tune, by the way, our new theme tune, which we've aired for the first time just now. Quick heads up about what's coming up on Tuesday night, 8 p.m. till 9 p.m. It's our 60-minute show. Really excited by this because our guest is Mr. David Coulthard. You don't need to be a fan of Formula One to enjoy this. He's a great friend of the club's, brought the house down when he did a lunch with us. Great stories, raced against all the greats, and I strongly recommend you join us for Mr. David Coulthard Tuesday nights from 8 till 9. And then on Thursday, next Thursday, this time next week, sports quiz with the stars. The star in question is Mr. David Gower. David Gower will be joining me to co-host our quiz this time next week. Can't wait. So as for tonight, you'll see in front of you, hopefully, a blue open chat box. That means that you can send any banter, any witticisms, any comments, anything you like, keep them clean, using that open chat box. So do feel free to do so. Also, you may notice we're at Twickenham. Well, we're not really, but it looks like we're at Twickenham, so that's us trying to make an effort. So, without further ado, let's introduce the real star of the evening, a man who just had an absolutely stellar career on the rugby pitch, good friend of mine, good friend of the club's. Hopefully, he is there, live and kicking. So, if he is, Mr. Neil Back, are you there, sir? This is always the moment. I said this about Sam Allardyce 2 weeks ago, and he wasn't, and I started talking about my holidays. So, Neil Back. I see some action. I see some action. And there he is. Backy, can you hear me? Can you see me? I can see his... there he is. Well, you can hear me okay?
I can, loud and clear, thank you.
Beautiful. Well, welcome, my friend, to the sports quiz with the stars. As you know, and just so that everybody else can be informed, we're going to rattle through, Backy and me are going to rattle through 10 questions, taking turns. Then we're going to give you the answers. And then we're going to have a 10-minute halftime chat, just talk a little bit further about Backy's extraordinary career. And then we'll do the second 10 questions of the quiz, give you the answers, and should finish in an hour, about 9:30. So no cheating, guys. What's the point? Just give it a go. Some of these questions you'll know, some of them you won't. It's just for fun. Before we start, though, Backy, we're also encouraging people to make donations, either during the show or after the show. Who are we making donations to tonight?
Well, I'm ambassador of 3 charities, but the chosen charity tonight is the Midlands Air Ambulance. I met the CEO at a charity raising function, and she went through what they go through each year in terms of the struggle to raise funds. And from that day on, which is about 6-7 years ago now, I've been an ambassador and doing all I can to help funds for them.
Okay, well, difficult times for everybody, but particularly for the small charities at the moment. And as you know, we pride ourselves at the Sporting Club for raising money for the smaller charities, where a relatively small amount of money actually goes a long way. So do check them out. And please, if you can donate anything, that would be fantastic. Every single pound helps. Okay, Backy, we're going to have a bit of a chat in 25 minutes. But if you're ready, I'm ready. So we're going to start. I'll do the odd questions, as in numbers. They're odd as well. And you can do the even questions, and we'll have a bit of a chat in between during the questions as well. By the way, Bob has just asked, how is everyone? Everyone's fine, Bob. Thank you. Hope you are too. Right, question 1. Football grounds. So I go first. Football grounds. These 3 famous teams all used to play at these grounds until relatively recently. I mean, certainly well into the turn of the century. I want to know the names of the grounds that they used to play at. So we're talking Coventry City, just been promoted to the Championship, which I'm delighted about. Hull City and Cardiff City. So as Charles Dickens nearly wrote, A Tale of Three Cities, I want to know the names of the grounds where they used to play until fairly recently: Coventry, Hull and Cardiff. And that is worth 3 points. And over to you, Backy. Question 2.
Well, I definitely know Coventry City because that was where I was born many years ago. Anyway, question 2, and I knew the answer to this when I was presented, so I'm quite chuffed. Who was the first £1 million footballer? We want to know the name of the player and the club he was transferred to.
A lot of money at the time, wasn't it? Now it's get anybody for $1 million.
Well, it
So
was.
that's worth 2 points.
I mean, I knew that it was way back in 1985, and in rugby union, the first £1 million player was a couple of years ago. But it wasn't really £1 million now; would be worth 2.5 now. So a massive difference. 30 years to catch up with football, and we're still behind. So,
okay, question 3. Can you name me or tell me what is the highest score in Premier League history, football? When I say highest score, I don't mean which team scored the most goals. I mean which teams in a match between them scored the highest number of goals in a single game. Okay. And I also want to know who the 2 teams are. May surprise you who they are. So what was the game? What was the score? So how many goals were there in total? And who were the 2 teams? And that's worth 3 points. Okay, Backy, over to you.
yeah, question 4. Galatasaray are a huge football club in Istanbul. Can you name 2 others from the city? And you get 2 points, 1 for each team.
Yeah, I tell you what, I've never been to it, but I've heard any of those 3 teams that they play against each other. Boy, oh boy, that is a derby and a half. That is some atmosphere. I wouldn't mind sampling that. Okay, question 5. So there's a list of the Premier League's top scorers of headed goals. I've got 5 names in front of me, 1 to 5. Can you name 3 of them? Doesn't have to be in order, but can you name 3 of the top 5 strikers or players who have scored the most headed goals in Premier League history? And that's worth 3 points. All right, Backy, over to you, my friend.
Okay, 1 for my hometown now. Which famous singer serenaded the Leicester City players and their fans at their home stadium when they won the Premier League title in 2016? So you get 1 point for that.
Yeah, I tell you what, whilst I've got you, so you're born in Coventry, you played rugby in Nottingham, and then obviously most of your career was at Leicester. So when City won that Premier League in 2016, which was an extraordinary story where they came from, and you'll be very familiar with it, were you excited by that? Was it great for you? I mean, where's your football allegiance?
Well, as you said, I was born and grew up in Coventry, so that's the team I look for, and I'm really pleased that they've been promoted to the Championship. You know, they were the top of the league by a long way, and they've been promoted, so that's fantastic. They're back in the Championship. But when Leicester City won that, more people in Leicester brought out their old Leicester City football shirts. It was an amazing achievement, but my allegiance now, I started my senior rugby career in Nottingham. My son turned 17 last year and signed a 3-year pro contract with Nottingham Forest. So that's who I'll follow now, not Leicester City, where I live.
Okay, so if Forest play Coventry, which they will do next season in the Championship,
yeah,
you're going to want Forest to win, are you?
Yes, I am, because although my son's still, he turns 18 later this year in September, and he's just sort of start to establish himself in the 23s. that's my club now. I've adopted that club. I support Forest, so hopefully it'll be a good game.
Yeah.
And
I'll tell you what,
no one
very
gets
quickly,
injured.
because we've got to get on, but very quickly, he's 17, isn't he? Or 18. So obviously he's in a great position where he is. But I guess the next 2 or 3 years are key, aren't they? You know, a lot of young talent, for whatever reason, are lost, aren't they? I'm sure it's the same at the Tigers as well. So nothing's guaranteed yet. He's got a really important 2 or 3 years, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, he's really humble, down to earth, and works incredibly hard. So, you know, his ethos is he'll never fail through lack of effort. So we'll give it a good shot and hopefully he's successful. If not, it won't be through lack of trying. So, like you say, there's a big fallout, particularly at this age, at important times. And unfortunately, it's been stunted now because of COVID. First team are back in now, but Finn's been training from home and training incredibly hard, along with his sister and myself. He's motivated me actually because he's walking around in his boxer shorts. So I have to keep trim myself. So it's good for me as well.
Imagine having you as a dad. Boy, oh boy, what a hard taskmaster you will be. Right, well, best of luck to Finn. Everybody look out for Finn back, okay? He's on the verge of breaking through at Forest, which will be great. Okay, my turn. So question 7, everybody. Which team has won the UEFA Cup? It's now called the Europa League. Same competition, UEFA Cup and the Europa League. Which team, you know, famous European team, has won it more times than any other team? It's worth 1 point. Name that team that's won the UEFA Cup, European League, more than any other team. 1 point. Okay, Backy, your turn. Question 8.
Yeah, question 8. Club nicknames. Can you name the nicknames of Norwich City and Newcastle United? And you get a point for each.
All right. Okay, fantastic. There's a little clue. There's a little bit of a connection there in the nicknames, but that's all we're going to say at the moment. Okay, question 9 is my turn. So Crystal Palace, whenever they run out at Selhurst Park, they're greeted by a very popular song which everybody sings and stamps their feet to. Can you name that song? It's worth 1 point. Name that song that all the Palace fans sing, and it's played over the tannoy system at Selhurst Park before and during when the teams run out. So it's not a fan song, it's a proper song. It was in the charts and everything, okay? That's worth 1 point. Backy, question 10?
Yeah, final question before half time. 8 teams have won the First Division / Premier League and the FA Cup double. Can you name the first 2? And that's worth 2 points.
There we go. So we're not talking about recent times. We're talking about back in the day, so to speak. Okay, fantastic. So we'll just give everybody a minute just to sort of jot down any final questions, and then we'll give the answers so that people know where they stand at half time. And then you and I will have a little natter. Backy, how are you finding lockdown, my friend?
It's different. A lot of my life, 25 years as a senior player / coach, I was away from the family a lot, and because of the restrictions we're under at the moment, the whole family at home. So my 20-year-old daughter, who's at Nottingham University, is back at home. Finn's at home. My wife and I have probably spent more time together over this period than we have it for a long time. So I'm enjoying it, making the most of it. I'm working hard, still able to work from home. And as I say, I'm motivated by both my children and my wife, and training virtually every day. So it's a good balance. We haven't had any real bust-ups yet, but I'm sure they may come if we stay locked in much longer.
Well, as you can see, I've also been training very hard every day as well. Back here, you can see the results. Right, talking about results, let's give the answers to the first 10 questions. So we'll do them in order, like we did when we asked the questions. I'll go first. So I asked what are the names of the grounds for the old grounds at Coventry City, Hull City, and Cardiff City played at, so Hull City played at Boothferry Park until 2002, Boothferry Park. Cardiff City played at Ninian Park until 2009. And Coventry City, Backy, they used to play at
Highfield Road.
Highfield Road until 2009. We don't think we quite know where they're going to be playing next season, but at least they're in League One. Okay, Backy, what's the answer to question 2?
Well, question 2 was who was the first £1 million footballer? And of course, that was Trevor Francis. And the club he transferred to was none other than Nottingham Forest, where my son's starting his career. So, very apt question.
And by the way, worked out rather well. Brian Clough, Trevor Francis joined them that season and ended that season scoring the winner in the European Cup final against Malmo. So it worked very well for all of them. Okay, question 3, the highest score in Premier League history, and which were the two teams? Well, the highest score was 7-4. It's been a lot of games with 10 goals and 9 goals and 8 goals, but only one with 11 goals, 7-4. That was in 2007. And the two teams were Portsmouth 7, Reading 4. So a great game if you were a neutral, or I guess if you were a Pompey fan. And that was worth 3 points, remember. Backy, question 4, please.
Yeah, Galatasaray are a huge football club in Istanbul. I had to look where that was. It's in Turkey. I asked my son, does he know? And he said yes. And I had to ask him how I pronounced it. It's the other two clubs in that city. It's Fenerbahce and Besiktas.
Beautifully pronounced. Fenerbahce and Besiktas. Yeah, those are the two. And they're all pretty much the same size unusually as well. They're all of equal standing. So, yeah, it will be some derby game going to there. The other one I hear always is good is Boca Juniors against River Plate in Buenos Aires. Apparently that one's pretty, pretty borderline, pretty tense. Right, my turn. Question 5. Can you name 3 of the Premier League's top scorers of headed goals? You know, if you didn't know this, you could probably work out 2 of them. The man who leads this list is none other than Mr. Peter Crouch with 53 goals. I would imagine most of his goals were scored with his head. Second is the man who leads the all-time goal scorers list in the Premier League, Mr. Alan Shearer with 46. Third, Mr. Dion Dublin, 45, Man United, ex-Coventry, of course, Backy. Fourth is Les Ferdinand with 40. And fifth, surprisingly, to me at least, is Dwight York with 38. So you've got 3 of those 5, well done. If you got 2 of those 5, not bad. If you got 1 of those 5, pretty average. If you got none of those 5, you know nothing about football. Okay, Backy, over to you, which, by the way, you may well not. Backy, over to you. Question number 6, please.
Which famous singer serenaded Leicester City when they incredibly won the Premier League in 2016? Hats off to them. Amazing performance. The answer is Andrea Bocelli.
Andrea Bocelli, yeah, I remember it well. Beautiful moment. Football fans actually enjoying Nessun Dorma, which is a first. Wonderful scenes. Okay, questions. By the way, do they still play Smoke on the Water at the Tigers? Do they still play that famous riff?
Last season, I went to 5 games. And to be honest with you, normally I'm out in my seat early, but because I was entertaining and having a few beers, I didn't get out till 5 minutes after the kickoff. So I don't recall them playing it. So I can't give you an honest answer there because I had a few beers, to be honest with you. When I played, I didn't drink a lot. Now I'm able to. So
that's shocking. Your professionalism is slipping in front of us as we watch you. Right. Okay. So question 7 was mine. Which team has won the UEFA Cup or the Europa League the most? The answer is surprisingly Sevilla, and moreover, they've won it 5 times since 2006. So all the Madrids and the Ajaxes, they've all won it a few times, but Sevilla has come up from nowhere and won it 5 times since 2006. So the answer is Sevilla, and that's worth 1 point. Question 8, Backy?
Yeah, club nicknames. We asked you if you can name the nickname for Norwich City and also Newcastle United. And of course, the answers are the Canaries and the Magpies.
There we go. Bit of a bird collection there, association there. Right, for me, question 9 was, what is the song that they blare out at Selhurst Park and everybody sings and stomps at the appropriate moment when Crystal Palace run out to play? The answer, it was Glad All Over by the Dave Clark 5. Glad All Over. I'm not going to sing it to you. You'll be pleased to know. All right, Backy. And finally, question 10 of the first half of this quiz. What's the question? What's the answer, please?
Yeah, I had no clue the answer to this one. So 8 teams have won the First Division and Premier League and FA Cup double. And we asked you to name the first 2. And the answer is Preston North End in 1889 and Aston Villa sometime later in 1987.
1897.
1987.
No, 1897.
That's not what it says on my sheet.
Do you know, last week we had Monty Panesar. I did a typo and I said, who's the actor in Happy Gilmore? And he went, Adam Dandler. I went, you mean Adam Sandler? He says, it says Adam Dandler here on my sheet.
Yeah, I didn't have a clue here. So unless you're a Preston North End fan or Aston Villa fan, and I know loads of Villa fans, to be honest with you, a lot of business we do in Birmingham. And I know if Neil Fletcher's on, he'd have definitely known this answer. So is it 1887? Is it?
No, 1897. 1897 is Aston Villa, and 1889 is Preston North End. Hey, it was before our time.
There's a typo on your sheet. I mean, I didn't know that, so I just took you at your word.
Hey, don't throw me under the bus publicly, okay?
I'm not.
Right?
I'm not.
Right, so we're going to have a little lull now whilst you and I have a quick chat about your career. Just before we do that, though, we always have the star question, which is a separate question. It's not part of the quiz, but each week we get the star to ask a question about themselves, and then we draw out the winner, and the winner gets a signed photo or whatever you can sign. So last week, Monty Panesar was our quiz co-quiz master, which, shall we say, was an interesting experience, Backy. Can you read out the question and the answer and the name of the winner, please?
Yeah, sure. Monty Panesar was on last week, as you say. His question was, where was a test venue where he held out for 69 balls with Jimmy Anderson to save an Ashes test? I had no clue. And the answer is Cardiff. What a wonderful city. I loved going there when England rugby played there. When you won, it was only a short walk over the road to the local pub. Great city. The winner is Matt Baggott.
All right, well, Matt, we'll get in touch, Matt, to send you what Monty signed. So, Backy, have you got a question for us this week?
I have. It was quite an embarrassing moment, but I'm the only England forward to have scored a drop goal in a test match playing for England. But do you know which country I scored it against? And quickly ran to the halfway line and hoped the game started as quickly as possible.
Well, we can't reveal who the country was, but I would assume you got a few looks and a few mentions on the pitch from your teammates.
To be honest with you, I was asked the question afterwards, and I had an immediate justification. I spent a lot of time growing up kicking for every team, kicking goals and drop goals for every team I played for. It was only at senior level that flankers did not kick goals. But afterwards, we had a team call, which was build the score. So we were 6 points ahead at this point, and we were lateral, going this way, that way, this way, that way. So I thought, right, let's just pop it over the poles. We're 9 points ahead. The opposition have to score twice. But when I did, one, I was glad it went over, and two, I did not look anyone in the eye until the game had restarted. And what's come after the game, I had to sort of receive a speech from the president of the Italian Football Club, and of course he spoke in Italian. It had to be translated, so it was twice as long. And he spent half of the speech having a go at me for, oh my God, dropping a goal. God, in a test match.
So you're being disrespectful.
Yeah, being disrespectful.
Yeah. Okay,
so I'll stop there. I'll probably say too much.
If you know the answer, pop it in the open chat box. Pop it down. You've got half an hour till the show ends, just 34 minutes actually. You know the answer. Pop it down, and we'll pick a winner. And David Gower, who's doing the quiz next week, will pull it out, and we'll announce the winner. And then David will do his own thing. Right, Backy, talk time. You and me. It's the halftime chat. So 15 years at the Tigers, 1990 to 2005, 339 appearances, 615 points. That's ridiculous. And for England, you played 66 times, scored 83 points, happened to win a World Cup, played 5 times for the Lions as well, got 5 points, extra, three World Cups. If I were to say to you 30 years ago, this is how your career is going to pan out, would you have bitten both arms off? Are you now, as you get older and hopefully you're mellowing, you'll look back and go, yeah, I'm happy with that, or actually could have been even more?
Look, I mean, early in my career, although I played internationally at every level from schoolboys right the way through, there was a period when I broke in to eligibility for the senior team that 2 successive coaches didn't pick me. And there was a 4-year gap between playing England under 20s and getting a first team cap. Played lots of games for the second team in the Saxons, but that wasn't what I wanted to achieve. So, you know, I can't sort of, I'm lucky and privileged to have played for top clubs in Nottingham and Leicester Tigers, and England and the Lions, like you said, on 3 Lions tours and 3 World Cups. Played the 7th World Cup as well. I'm lucky enough to say that I've won everything you can win as a club and an international player and British Lion in terms of silverware, and most things more than once. So, look, I look back and think, you know, incredible. Privileged to be a part of those teams and achieve what we did. Obviously, 2003 was the icing on the cake. It was the final piece of the jigsaw. The only trophy a Northern Hemisphere player hadn't won it until that time. So it was the last piece of the jigsaw. I sort of retired internationally after that, but was picked for a 3rd Lions tour in 2005, and went, enjoyed the experience. We were playing against the world's best team at the time. It wasn't an incredible tour, but I certainly enjoyed it, and feel that I went out at the very top. Playing for the British and Irish Lions is the ultimate honour as a Northern Hemisphere player, and things could have been different early on. I could have got a break earlier, got into the international team earlier, but I could have been injured and not continued. So blessed to have played with those teams and achieved what we did together.
So I was lucky enough to be there in 2003 in Sydney, which watching you winning the World Cup. Backy, 28 seconds to go, as you know, when Johnny popped the drop goal over. I never thought I'd see anything as dramatic again in my life on a sporting field. And then lo and behold, if you saw the Cricket World Cup final last summer, that was sort of equal, wasn't it? But playing on the pitch as you did, you kind of won that game about twice already, hadn't you? But they kept coming back. They kept coming back. And you knew what was happening, didn't you? You knew Johnny was in position. Matt Dawson had done his run. Jono had brought it back in. Everybody, you knew what was going to happen, but it still had to happen. Were you kind of in the zone with those. Are you aware of the time as well? I mean, it was going to be
Yeah.
a kick out, wasn't it? Looking back at that, it must still be the most incredible match you have ever played in, not just because it was a World Cup final.
It was incredible. You know, quickly going through the game, we led at half time 14-5. You know, Australia went 5-0 up with a crossfield kick that Takiri went up against, 6'4" against 5'8" Jason Robinson. But Jason kept in the game and scored at the 9 minutes of the first half. The second half, we lost 9-0 because we were heavily penalised at half time, and they scored an equalising penalty in the last minute of normal time. So Australia kept in the fight. You know, some tactical decisions were made by the management. They didn't sort of intervene too much because the leadership was on the pitch, but they sort of brought Phil Vickery off, who was having an incredible game in the scrum, probably his best game. He was destroying, with the help of his 7 teammates in the pack at the scrum, but he was getting penalised. So Clive brought Jason Leonard on, who basically said to the referee, look, I'm not going to scrummage. I'm just going to stay there, and I'm not going to go forwards, backwards, up or down, so you can't penalise me. And we didn't get penalised again at the scrum. So it's incredible. That extra time period, we scored in the first 2 minutes of extra time. And then incredibly, they score with a minute and a half to go of extra time. So we're sitting there 17 all with a line out that you sort of start to talk about there. And we were confident, we were comfortable. We'd been through a lot over the last 4 or 5, 6, 7 years under Clive. So we didn't have to make a team call. Everyone knew what we were going to do. In that position, we've sort of discussed over the years what we would do, learned from our mistakes, and it went to plan. The only thing that didn't go to plan is, you know, Dorse made that break and got nearer the line a bit quicker. We weren't looking to get in position to drop a goal. We were looking to score a try first and foremost. If they cheated and gave a penalty away, to bang that between the poles. And if the opportunity presented itself, then to drop a goal. And when it went between the poles, 20 points to 17, no one celebrated. If you look at the video, everyone's looking at the game clock to see how long's left. You said 28 seconds. People say different. When I looked at the clock, there was 22 seconds to go. And 22 seconds to deny Australia possession. It was their kick-off, and they kicked off. They weren't going to kick long because we'd have caught it, killed the clock, end of the game. They kicked short, and they kicked to Trevor Woodman, loose head prop. No disrespect to him, been on the field 100 minutes, most likely player, you know, in your front row to drop the ball. So they picked out, and I credit them with that tactical nous, but he caught the ball, he did his job, and he was as important as that Johnny putting the ball between the poles. Yeah. It wasn't until Catty cleared the ball into the 10th row of the stand and the ref said it's over, that then it was celebration. The overriding feeling was all the hard work, all the sacrifice worthwhile.
Yeah, Backy, we got to get back to the quiz, but really quickly, you form part of the back row, which became known as the Holy Trinity. Yourself at 7, Richard Hill at 6, Lawrence Delalio at 8, and of course there's some great players knocking hard on your door to get in there as well. Lewis Moody, Martin Corey, to name but 2. Why were you so good as a unit? And don't forget, Lawrence played for your arch rivals Wasps as well. Why you were all very different, and you all did your chosen jobs, didn't you?
Yeah, I think briefly we complemented each other really well, and that's because we understood each other's strengths and weaknesses. And I'll sort of leave it there. We're all very competitive, but you've hit the nail on the head, really. I think we were so good as a unit, and I can say that because we played 48 times together as a back row. The reason we were so good together was because of the players that you've mentioned, Martin Corrie, Lewis Moody, Joe Worsley that you missed out there, the other back row. They were so good themselves, they made us do all that we could every day to be the best that we could be, to keep them out of the team. So, and that was the strength of the side. We had 30 players and an extra player come that, you know, you weren't guaranteed your spot. There was tremendous competition, and that's what made that team great.
Okay, mate, let's go back to the quiz. Let's go back to the quiz. We are now going to do questions 11 to 20, and these are non-football questions. These are all sorts of different sports. I'll kick off. Question 11, everybody, if you're ready, pens and papers, etc. Google off, obviously. Right, here we go. Question 11. Just referred to it, chatted to Backy there, the ODI Cricket World Cup final last summer. Extraordinary sporting spectacle. If you recall, it went down to a super over, and both England and New Zealand, even in the super over, scored the same amount of runs. I mean, literally, what's the old saying? You couldn't differentiate them, couldn't divide them by the width of a cigarette paper. How many runs did they both score? It's the same amount in the super over. It's worth 1 point. How many runs scored by both teams in the World Cricket Cup final super over? Okay. Did you watch that, by the way, Backy? Did you watch that final last summer?
I did, yes. No, it's incredible. Amazing. I mean, the incidents that happened in that and sort of the rulings, but, you know, forget what happened. You know, we were worthy champions, and it was great. Team spirit that got them over the line.
And as you well know, fine margins, fine margins aren't coincidental.
Absolutely.
There's a reason why a team comes out on top, but it can be so minor. Right, your turn. Question 12.
Yeah, rugby union. So, can you name the top 3 England rugby captains in terms of caps won whilst in charge? So that's worth 3 points. We want the 3 England rugby captains in terms of caps won whilst in charge.
There we go. Now, I definitely knew 2 of them, but I was a little bit surprised by one of them. But we shall see. We shall reveal the answers in a bit. Right, my turn. Question 13. In motorsport, there's a term called the Triple Crown. And the Triple Crown is 3 races, which, in fact, only one famous motor racing driver has ever won. I want to know the names of the 3 races that comprise motorsport's Triple Crown. What are the 3 races? And that's worth 3 points. Okay, Backy, question 14, please.
All right, 14. Can you name the 2 famous Cuban heavyweight boxers who both won 3 Olympic gold medals? And that's worth 2 points.
Are you a fight fan?
I am, yes. I didn't know these 2 particular answers, to be honest with you. I had to research them myself in the background, but yeah, pay-per-view, I'm up late, taking the atmosphere and watching. I've been to a few fights, but never to a world title fight. Hopefully I'll do that. It's in my bucket list to do. Now I've got a bit more time to do it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Brilliant. All right then. Question: do you agree that Muhammad Ali is the greatest sports person ever? If you did your top 10, would you put him number 1?
Oh, it's really difficult asking that question. There's so many great sportsmen and women out there. I mean, he'd certainly be in the conversation, but I'm not gonna pin that label to anyone. Some incredible.
He's my number 1. Just above you, Backy. He's my number 1. Right, my turn. My turn. Question 15. Golf. Can you name the last 3 courses that staged the Open, the British Open, as everybody else calls it, especially the Americans. We just call it the Open because we think it's the best one. Can you name the last three courses? 2019, 2018, 2017, and that's worth 3 points. Backy, question 16, please.
Yeah. 16. Two sports stars share the British record of the most Olympic gold medals won. Who are they? That's 2 points, one for each.
Okay. So hopefully you've got that right, people. My turn. Question 17. This is a cycling question. I love this. I love watching this. Okay. In the Kerin race in the velodrome, and also in 6-day cycling as well, if you've ever seen that, you got a little man on a little motorbike. That's the word, motorbike at the front, and he goes round and round and round, and eventually he pulls away, and off they go cycling. I'd love to be that man on the bike, by the way, Backy, except I never get off. I just go faster and faster and faster. Anyway, for 1 point, do you know what that bike is called? It's got a certain name that the commentators always say the man's riding the... So what's the name of that bike that goes round and round the velodrome before it pulls away, and then that's a sign for everybody to go absolute gangbusters to the finish? You like your cycling, Backy? Are you into your... Jono's into his cycling. Martin Johnson loves his cycling.
Massively into it. Jono is massively into his cycling. It's a Stato Norse. You can ask him any question and he'll come up with an answer. I'm doing I was due to do a charity cycle from London to Paris. It was going to be in June, but then they put it back to July, and now it's September. I doubt that will happen. That's to raise money for Rugby Heroes. It's not been cancelled yet, but I can't see it happening. So I've been out on my bike quite a lot. I do quite a bit of CV, running, cycling. I'm not a great swimmer. I can swim, but I'm not a great swimmer. So running and cycling is my thing.
Okay, right. It's your turn. Question 18, Backy.
Yeah, Rugby League. Name the famous winger who starred for the great Wigan team of the 90s. He also had a short spell in Rugby Union as well. We'd like to know his nickname as well.
All right, that's worth 2 points. I've never asked you this, and I've asked you a lot of questions over the years. Were you ever approached at any point from a rugby league team?
Yeah, between sort of moving out the England 21s to making my debut, that 4-year spell, 2 years into that, I was recruited by St Helens to play rugby league, and obviously rugby union was an amateur sport at that time. And I was offered quite a large sort of contract to move, but instead I declined and went and knocked on their head of sports science at Loughborough University and said, this is where I am, this is where I want to be, can you help me get there? And he sort of gave me a professional training program, weights, cardio, nutrition, psychology, 4 years before the game turned pro, and coincidentally 2 years later I made my international debut. So love the game, love watching it. My spell at Leeds coaching, we shared training facilities and the ground with the famous Leeds Rhinos. Great characters, great squad, great bunch of lads. Had a crack up there for 3 years. Didn't quite go as well as we'd hoped. Like all things, the finance was promised but didn't reveal its head. But learned a lot up there, particularly off the league boys. Great attitude, great athletes, and great skills, which now is prevalent in rugby union.
And it's good to hear that, because when you started out, there was a real sort of them and us thing. A lot of union, so the old guard looked down on rugby league, whereas Clive Woodward, recognised that the union, like we all sports can learn from other sports, can't they? And he brings Jason Robinson in. What an impact he made. So no, I'm just good to hear you say that. Right, my turn. Question 19. So Usain Bolt, what a star he was and is. Question is, how many Olympic gold medals did Usain Bolt win? How many gold medals at the Olympics did Usain Bolt win? And that's worth 1 point. Pure sheer box office back at Usain Bolt. Absolutely brilliant for sport that badly misses him.
Yeah, I went to a track where alongside the track, LED lights tracked the pace of Usain Bolt doing 100 meters. Literally, the gun went and the lights along the side went. And literally, when he'd finished, I think I was about 20 meters down the track. Is incredibly powerful. I mean, he's a big bloke. What he does is incredible, and he's a great character as well. I've never met him. On the bucket list as well.
He would have been useful on the wing if he could catch a ball. If he could catch a ball, he would have been quite useful, wouldn't he?
Oh well, yeah. A couple of fast athletes have come across, but unfortunately, they got injured very quickly. But if you caught him, you struggle to get near him because he's rapid, seriously rapid. I mean, there's some fast players in Union, but Jesus, they'd be left dead by him every day of the week.
Okay, so we come to the final question, question 20, and Backy, you've got the honour of asking it.
Yeah, only 4 British rugby figures have been knighted. There's many that maybe should have, but only 4 have. So can you name 2 of them and you'll get a point for each?
All right, brilliant. So we'll reveal the answers in a minute. We'll just give everybody a minute just to look at their answers. If there's any gaps to fill in, they can. Whilst we do that, let's talk very quickly about another famous incident with you. 1986 Football World Cup, the hand of Maradona. 1992 Cardiff, Leicester Tigers beat Munster to defend successfully the Heineken Cup. And a saying came from that particular game. It was called the hand of back. Just please explain to everybody what I mean by that and your thought process behind it, because it paid off.
I don't know what you're on about.
Yeah, right.
Look, the incident happened 78 and a half minutes into an 80-minute game, whereby Leicester Tigers were beating Munster 15 points to 9. Leicester Tigers had actually scored 4 tries in that game. 2 were disallowed. But a minute and a half to go, Munster had a scrum 5 metres out from our goal line, directly in front of the post. And they had the put-in. It's a great opportunity to score. But they had many opportunities in that game and they hadn't crossed our line once. And they weren't going to then. And then the incident happened. Peter String was about to put the ball in the scrum. The ref, who was more curious to what Graham Rowntree, our loosehead, was doing on the other side of the scrum, so he went round there to have a look. And Peter Stringer put it this way: if your mum baked a cream cake, put it on the side and said, "I'm just going out the room, don't touch that cake," you'd have a swipe of the cream, wouldn't you? And that's exactly what Peter Stringer did. He delayed, he held the ball there, and in that moment I thought, I'll have a bit of that cream. And somehow the ball went into the back of our scrum, we cleared the ball went off the pitch, we killed the clock, the game was over. If that was the only incident in that whole game that was on the line of the rules, then people can have an issue with it, but there was probably 30 or 40 incidents in that 80 minutes that you could go back and look at. So, I mean, fair play to the Munster guys. They sort of took it on the chin. You know, it's part of the game. It wasn't premeditated. It wasn't practice, tactic. It was just autonomous in that moment. I've been asked many times, you know, do you wish you hadn't done it? Well, no, because it was about winning. And, you know, at the end of the day, I helped Pete Stringer because I helped his development, because he never let that happen to him again. So,
you see, you're all heart, aren't you?
Well, I've made him a better player, and it gave Munster the inspiration to go and win it twice themselves. An incredible club. I've been over there many times. There's no issues. They have the crack. They understand the crack. You know, there's always a negative, though. The negative is, you know, I have to win. I have to sort of polish 2 medals now, not 1. So.
Oh dear, poor you. I love the cream cake analogy. I would have just swiped the cream, by the way. I'd swipe the whole cake. But anyway, that's for another day. Right. We now have got to give out the answers to the questions 11 to 20. So I'll go first because I answered question 11. The question was, question 11, one-day cricket final last summer. How many runs did both England and New Zealand score in the Super Over? It was the same amount, incredibly. You just couldn't split those two teams. The answer was 15. They both scored 15 runs in that Super Over. If you got that right, that's worth 1 point. And as Richard Osmond says, very well done at home. Very well done at home. Right, your turn, Backy. Question 12.
Yeah, we asked, can you name the top 3 England captains in terms of caps won whilst in charge? Top of the tree is Will Carling with 59. Next is Robshaw with 42. And surprisingly, Martin Johnson with 39. Only 39. I mean,
yeah, I see. Yeah, you thought it might have been more. Okay, question 13 from me. Which are the 3 races in motorsport that make up the famous Triple Crown? What are the 3 races? They are, and a lot of you might have thought, oh, what are the 3 big Formula One races? No. The answer is the Indianapolis 500, the 24-hour Le Mans race, and the Monaco Grand Prix. Those are the 3 races from 3 different motorsport genres that make up the motorsport, the Triple Crown. Only 1 driver has ever won it. I'm not going to say who it is because I think I'm going to ask that question in a quiz in a week or 2. So 3 points if you named all 3, 2 if you named 2, 1 if you named 1, and if you didn't get any, fat 0, people. Okay, your turn, Backy. Question 14.
Yeah, can you name 2 famous Cuban boxers, heavyweight boxers, who won 3 Olympic gold medals, which is incredible? And the answer is Teofilo Stevenson and Felix Savon.
Yeah. Savon probably isn't as famous, but Stevenson was around during that great Ali Foreman Frazier time, and they tried really hard to turn him pro because everybody wanted to watch Stevenson against Ali, but Stevenson was in Cuba, so there's no way he could have turned pro at the time. But Ali said he's the only boxer he wishes he'd fought who he didn't. So they were both great fighters. Right, my turn. Question 15, golf. Can you name the last 3 courses that the Open or the British Open was staged at? The answer is in 2019, i.e. last year, it was Royal Portrush, Northern Ireland. In 2018, it was Carnoustie. Terribly difficult course, that one. Well, at least I find it that, which doesn't say anything. And 2017, the answer is Royal Birkdale. So Portrush, Carnoustie, and Birkdale were those last 3. Worth 3 points if you got that right. Backy.
Okay. Who are the 2 sports stars that share most British records, Olympic gold medals? So who's won the most British Olympic gold medals? And they are 2 cyclists. I knew one, Sir Chris Hoy, and the other is Jason Kenny, CBE.
Yeah, yeah. So they've both won 6 golds. Jason's real quiet guy and likes to be under the radar. But it'd be interesting, wouldn't it? Chris has got a knighthood, so you think, 6 gold medals. It's some feat. Maybe they're going to wait till Jason's finished. Right, my turn. Question 17. It is a cycling question. What's the name of that little motorbike that goes round and round the velodrome in the six-day racing, and particularly the Kevin? You may not watch 6-day racing, but you probably watched the Kevin, and then the bike speeds up, and then shoots off, and then all the cyclists go. The name of the little motorbike is called the Derny. The Derny is the name of the motorbike, and that's worth 1 point. Okay, question 18, Backy.
Yeah. Rugby league. Name the famous winger who starred for the great Wigan team in the 90s, and also said he played rugby union as well. He played for Bedford Blues and London Wasps. And also his nickname, and of course, is Martin O'Fire, MBE, and his nickname is Chariots because he was on fire. He was that fast.
Chariots of Fire. What a player he was. Maybe he joined Union a little bit past his best. I don't know, you'd know, Backy, but on playing for Wigan. And of course, you had Sean Edwards alongside him and some great players. But he scored some amazing tries.
Well, they crop up on social media all the time, and he was an incredible player, absolutely rapid. So support his nickname because he was on fire.
Okay, 2 questions to go. My turn. Question 19. How many Olympic gold medals did Usain Bolt win? How many gold medals did he win? And the answer, over the course of 3 Olympics, 2008, 2012 in London, and 2016 in Rio, the answer is 8. Usain Bolt won 8 Olympic gold medals. What an absolute sporting superstar, not just track and field. That man was. And so we come to the final answer from the final question of the evening, Backy, and the honour is yours, my friend.
Okay, only 4 British rugby figures have been knighted. We ask you to name 2 of them, point apiece. And the answer is Sir Bill Beaumont, Sir Clive Woodward, Sir Ian McGeechan, and Sir Gareth Edwards.
So we got 2 of those. We've got the question. Got a quick question for you. Why isn't it 5? Why isn't it Sir Martin Johnson? He'd hate that though, wouldn't he? Actually, he'd hate that.
To be honest with you, there's significant moments in games when players do something that, make a significant difference. But, rugby truly is a team sport. Everyone is equally important to success. I genuinely believe that. Some players are sort of because of what they're doing, but your good tight head prop, strengthening his neck and making it 22 inches, and giving that strength to give a stable platform, and also be able to get around the field. No one wants to film and talk about that. Someone else that's a bit more handsome, more appealing, potentially kicking the ball, gets a bit more attention. But those people accept and acknowledge that everyone's equally important as well. So Jono would hate it, I think, but he's the only English captain to have lifted the World Cup. He's also been a Lions captain, winning a series. He's won every major honour as a Northern Hemisphere club and international player and British and Irish Lion. So he's got the full bag of tricks. So if he was knighted, it wouldn't surprise me. He would shrug his shoulders, furrow his brow, and sort of write it off. But if any player deserves it, I believe Jono does.
And what a brow that is. Right, we're running out of time. We're in injury time now. It's the final play, waiting for the ball to go out. everybody, there's a lot of people watching tonight. They're all watching because of you. They all think you're a great bloke. I know the truth. I think we've just got time for you to tell everybody your time to own up and apologise for shooting me in the back. Now's your opportunity.
I thought we got away with that one.
Never going to let it drop. Tell the story.
Well, yeah. Well, Ian was invited himself to train with Leicester Tigers on a training camp, and he actually played for Leicester Tigers. And he did pretty well. What I admired about Ian was his attitude and commitment to training. He wasn't afraid to get stuck in. He got hurt a bit, but we went out for a leadership, motivation, communications exercise doing paintballing. We split into 2 teams. Ian was on the other team. I don't know if he was on the red or blue team, whatever. He was on the opposition. He come up behind me and I put my gun in the air and said, I've run out of bullets, I've got no bullets. So he walked past me and didn't shoot me. And as he went past, I unloaded a full tube of paintballs into his derriere from about 1 meter as he was running away. And he had a severely bruised bottom. So I apologise sincerely for that. I saw it as a bit of banter and a bit of fun. You saw it differently. The team enjoyed it. And I think, sorry, it's took 20 years or more to say that.
Hallelujah.
But,
hallelujah. Your apology.
I enjoyed it.
By the way, you couldn't miss my ass from a yard away. Let's be honest. I accept your apology. The matter is dropped. I'll instruct the lawyers to drop the case. We'll move on. Backy, we've run out of time, my friend. That hour shot through very, very quickly. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. Hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. Hopefully you learnt a few things as well. Best of luck to your boy at Nottingham Forest. Best of luck to you and everything that you're doing. We'll see you very, very soon. And as we say these days, continue to stay safe, stay well, and we'll catch up with you very, very soon, Backy, okay? So thanks again. So it's a goodbye to everybody else as well. Thanks so much for joining tonight for Sports Quiz with the Stars. Don't forget, next week, Tuesday, 60-minute show is with David Coulthard. Looking forward to that very much. 8 p.m. till 9 p.m. on Tuesday, and then next Thursday, Sports Quiz with the Stars. We're back again, 8:30 to 9:30. We've had a legend of rugby tonight. We've got a legend of cricket, English cricket, next Thursday, Mr. David Gower. Looking forward to next week. So everybody, stay safe. Have a great evening. Have a great weekend. Have a great week. Hopefully see you on Tuesday and maybe even on Thursday as well. So thanks again and good night.
Good night.